up, guys? Chris here from Anabolic Men. And so today we're going to talk about muscle up. And I'm about to go over to the park with my buddy Jeremy. We're going to film basically the best muscle up tutorial ever made. There's some okay ones out there, but really no one actually breaks it down. I've got a very specific way of breaking down how to do a muscle up, and this way of thinking got me to do my first muscle up years ago in about 12 days of work. And so I'll show you exactly how to do it. There's different things you should focus on in terms of technique that'll make your life so much easier. Then you also need to know how to do the proper power development and what moves you should use to build that power. So we're going to head over to the park right now, and I'm going to show you exactly what you need to do to get your first muscle up within 2 weeks. All right, we're on our way over to the park. We're gonna hit the bar, show you the technique and stuff, but on the way, I figured we'd talk to you about why you would even want to muscle up in the first place. Now, people that are seeking out this information already know why they want to muscle up. There's a couple good reasons. First off, it looks cool, it's fun. It makes you more well-balanced in your training rather than just lifting weights. I really believe in gravity-based movements for building a balanced physique, so you're not just able to bench press 400 pounds, but then you can't do one pull-up. This is a great power movement. It keeps you athletic, keeps you feeling great, also helps extend your spine really well, so you stay healthy. The second good reason is actually it's great for testosterone production and growth hormone output. So hormonal release is dependent on what I call the testosterone work principle. And what that is basically you activate as much muscle tissue as possible in a short amount of time as possible. And you're doing a lot of work, from the physics construct of work, which is using force over displacement. So you're displacing weight over that distance, basically. So muscle ups are great for that because pull-up bars are generally pretty high. This isn't a pull-up bar, but they're generally about this high. You're gonna be at 7-8 feet high. So you're able to displace your body weight, which most dudes are between 170 pounds to maybe 220. I'm about 210. So the total amount of work done is actually really high. So you're gonna get a good hormonal response from the muscle up. All right, so a lot of you actually might be wondering what a muscle up looks like what a proper muscle up looks like. So I'll just show you on the bar. Now that you realize what it looks like, I'm going to break down my system and the way of understanding that'll help you get to your muscle up goal quickly. So first thing is technique. So the most important, we're gonna talk about technique, then we're gonna talk about power development, because both are super essential. So the first thing is grip. Now, a lot of people are used to doing pull-ups with this kind of grip where you you're around the bar, you're gripping around the bar like this. People will do pull-ups like that. When you're learning how to muscle up, it's really difficult to have your grip around the bar because as you can see right here, it's kind of underneath the bar. You're pulling straight up. And the key with the muscle up is you need to be able to get to the point where you're applying force straight down. So if you have a rounded grip under the bar, you're doing the exact opposite in terms of pushing versus pulling, which will make that transition from here to here much more difficult. So what I recommend, and people can do it around the bar, but it's a lot more difficult, but I recommend using something called false grip, which a lot of gymnasts use. So false grip it looks like this. You have your hand over the bar, instead of gripping under like this, you have over the bar. So I guess you could zoom in here. As you can see, basically this allows you to, even when you're under the bar with your weight, you're still doing a minimal transition in force. So you're still basically pushing straight down throughout the entire movement, and it'll allow you to make that transition from under the bar to over the bar a lot easier. So that's just a little trick. When you first, if you're not used to false grip, when you first start doing it, it seems a bit awkward and it can be a little difficult to get used to. But the more you do it, it should only take a few days, really max, maybe one long session of working on it before you feel really good and comfortable with it. But it'll make all the difference in getting your first muscle up quickly. And it's also great for pull-ups too. I mean, I've been able to work up to really heavy weighted chin-ups pretty easily with using the false grip instead of under the bar grip, because you're able to really apply that force downward, which is great. So the second part of technique, let's assume you want to use false grip now. Second part of the technique that's super important is your center of mass and being cognizant of your center of mass. So center of mass is like it's a physics construct, basically demonstrating where in a weighted body of something, it could be, everything has a center of mass in space, right? So it could be like a shoe, you're wearing, your shoe has a center of mass, this bracelet has a center of mass, so does your body. So you need to think about your body in terms of just principles. There's a center of mass in your body, and when you're trying to make that transition of kind of like a forced transition to get over the bar more seamlessly, you want to make sure that your center of mass is as directly under the bar as possible. Because if your center of mass is too far forward or too far backward, that transition is going to be, not impossible, but extremely difficult. And for anybody that's new to this, it's going to be basically impossible. You'll never get the muscle up. And that's the biggest thing that I see people do, the biggest problem that they have, where 99% of people can't do a muscle up because, or more. It's usually a center of mass problem. So I want to demonstrate what it looks like when you have like too far forward center of mass. Maybe if you film from here, it'd be good. This is what you see a lot. This is a really common one. People, when they're first trying to muscle up, they'll go and they'll be way too far forward. But if you think about it, if your center of mass is right here relative to the bar, how are you ever going to get over the bar? You're not. You have to be basically right underneath it so you can make that transition properly. So usually when people try and muscle up, they'll go, do stuff like that, try to do some big kip or whatever, but their center of mass is usually out here, which is it's not going to help you at all. You'll never get over the bar that way. Now the opposite of that, the other incorrect way, is having your center of mass too far back. So it could be back here, which is a lot if you do see people that really go hard for that kip, and then they try, instead of applying the force through their wrist strength and their grip, which is the proper way to do it, in the forearms as a lever, they try and just swing their way over. So when you try and swing your way over, you either need a massive amount of momentum, which is a big giant kip, or you're never going to get over because your center of mass is just out here and you're not really applying force down. You're just trying to swing over. So that would look something like that kind of thing. People do a lot, or they'll be really tired and they'll be doing a pull up and then trying to get over that way. Their center of mass is too far back and they'll never get over. So hopefully you understand that. Center of mass, usually 99.9% of the time when people can't do it, it's too far forward or too far backward. Now, and this is, using your body as a weighted object in space, and using physics to just to understand a more seamless way of doing this. When your center of mass is right under the bar, you don't need a kip or anything at all. You can do really slow muscle ups and just get over the bar because you're not relying on any kind of momentum and your center of mass in the right place for that power transfer. So you could just kind of do a muscle up like that instead of swinging, doing that kind of stuff. That you need to do that for tricks sometimes. But just having the center of mass directly under the bar is a really good way to go about things. So hopefully you understand that those are the main tenets of technique that you need to know. Get the right center of mass, actively figure it out. Once you figure out your first muscle up, your body's kind of naturally gonna calibrate toward it using what's known as a vestibular system in your brain, which is responsible for balance, and it kind of automates your balance, so you don't have to really think about it. But you have to teach yourself to do it, to find that center of mass. So power development is the next key, and a lot of people, they might be really strong in the weight room, but they don't have good power. And it's something I talk about a lot in the THOR program, is developing power, because it'll make you more athletic, give you a bigger hormonal response to your training, and you'll just get stronger faster, basically. So there's some good moves to learn if you can't muscle up right now, but you're still decently strong. I recommend using a couple types of pull-ups actually to work your way into that transition. So the first pull-up is just a high pull-up. So usually when people do pull-ups, they'll just go to here, right? That's fine if you're just doing pull-ups, but if you really want to get strong and develop that power, I recommend pulling up to your lower chest. So to there. So when you can work that one up to 5 solid reps, you're going to have a good handle on that movement, because it's also right where you need to be, where that transition happens for the muscle up. So the second type of pull-up I recommend doing is explosive pull-ups. This is really good for power. So basically, it's like a regular pull-up, but you pull through as hard as you can to explode off the bar. Then catch it, come back down, do it again. Stuff like that. The natural next step for that's more fun and less boring is clap pull. So if you work on those three, if you have high pull-ups, clap pull-ups, and explosive pull-ups, if you can get like 5 solid reps of each of those and just do some sessions where that's what you focus on, and really teach your body to explode better, because a lot of people have good static strength, they're just not super dynamic or athletic strength. So I'm out of breath. Focusing on that explosion over the course of even just 1 week, you're going to see massive difference in your ability to approach the transition properly on the muscle up. So those are the key elements to doing your first muscle up properly. Now, when you start to get to the point where you're feeling better and you're really going for getting your first muscle up, here's a good way to do things. A lot of parks have this kind of bar situation. So, where there's like a really low one, a mid-size one, and then a high one, and then whatever that is, like super low. But a good way to start is actually to use your lower body, so you can, the transitions where most people have a problem, right? So if you can just teach your body by greasing the groove neurally to get used to, doing that dip at the top, you could, one good exercise to do, most people do dips sideways like this. If you just do front dips, so, go down and up, you actually are teaching your body to go through that proper movement. And it's actually really good for your upper chest too. It's pretty similar. It's like a calisthenics equivalent to incline bench press. It'll hit similar muscle groups. So that's a good one. And then another thing you can do is just jump. Like use your lower body to force that transition. So just jumping like that. It's basically an assisted movement, and you can just apply less force on your jump over time so that you're jumping less, basically. That's a good progression to start with. So basically start here, do front dips, then move to higher bar, do jumps, and then eventually you'll be feeling strong enough and you can just go to the real bar and do muscle ups. So that's it for the muscle up tutorial. Hopefully I covered all the bases. Hopefully you guys understand how to do it now. And if you have any questions, just leave them in the comments on the video. Thanks for watching.